Hello and welcome to Talking Live. I'm Dr. Robbie Ludwig right here in Starshop Studio in Times Square. And I am so thrilled. We have a very special guest, Lisa Robertson. I know you know her from QVC, but before we get into our lovely interview with
Thanks,
her,
honey.
yeah, I'm so glad that you're here. I just want to give a shout out to the company that we were talking about.
Yes.
Tall Order.
Okay.
Fabulous.
You were telling me about these guys.
Oh my
That
God,
is
they're
the
so
sweetest.
amazing.
I love it.
So if you look at the emblem right here, it stands for the blue sky that happened on 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And the company
And I remember, everybody remembers where they were that morning.
remembers.
But everybody remembers. You watched the news.
Yes.
Somebody woke you up. Oh my gosh, here's what's going on.
That's
You
right.
ran to your television. It was a blue sky. And you're
That's
going,
right.
what? At first you were confused. How did it happen? I remember that blue sky.
And it was really interesting because on that day, downtown felt very different than uptown.
Yeah, I bet.
Downtown, it was scary, chaotic. Uptown, it was like completely silent. It was really bizarre. It was a bizarre day, but this is a family, they lost their dad.
Yeah.
And they created a sock company in his honor. It's a lovely family. And they have the most beautiful socks that used to just be for big and tall guys. Like Marvin over here. It used to be, and who's a fan of these socks as well. So like all of the famous basketball players would wear it. Now they're all sizes.
Okay.
So they're all sizes. They sell at Macy's, and I was.
But a portion of their proceeds still.
Oh yes, thank you. A portion of their proceeds go to children who are kind of experiencing a tragedy, so they really want to give back.
Yeah,
which is so lovely. And just of note, women wear them too. And when I was taking out these samples, my daughter took one.
Oh,
she's like, these
that's
are
a good
mine.
sign.
Yeah, and she's in high school,
No, but
they're all into what's
socks
cool.
are big again.
I
Socks
know.
It's so funny because for a while it was the no sock thing, and now socks are in.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because when I was coming up and I was noticing the way everybody was dressing, and the young hip kids are wearing those big sneakers that they technically call dad sneakers.
Yeah.
By the way, from the 80s.
Yeah.
And the socks.
Uh-huh.
And it's also socks are it.
They're
you need
it.
a wardrobe.
Well, if my daughter's reaching for it, because she's a fashionista,
You know.
so she's like, these are mine. But anyway,
Yeah.
they're now all sizes being sold at Macy's. We'll have a link so you can find out more information.
They
Tall
just seem like the
Order.
sweetest guys.
Oh my
I don't even know them, but she was just telling me their story, and I love
the whole family.
Yeah.
Lisa's the mom, and she's just bubbly and fabulous, and the two boys are just so lovely, and they're best friends. They're
That's
twins
so
and best
nice.
friends and very tall, and
Yeah.
I've never felt so short. But, I don't know. But anyway, so we have great information about that. And Lisa, I mean, you are incredible. So many people know you from QVC, including me.
Thank you.
Because you were there queen of QVC
Well,
for
20. Well, I was there for 20 years. I certainly,
Yeah.
wasn't at the, the top of the game for 20 years, but I worked my way up. It was good.
You were like the face of QVC. You designed for them.
Yeah, the last 3 years, I created and designed the Geely line, which started out in fashion. It went to jewelry, handbags, shoes, gifts, and Christmas decor.
So that's a lot.
It
Did you
was.
have training in designing?
I didn't. I just have a
Yeah.
really strong opinion. Who's shocked? Nobody raised their hand at that. Nobody.
But I have to say,
No one was shocked.
Let me tell you something. As lovable as you are on television, you're even more so in person.
Thanks.
You really are. You're like a girl's girl that's just so much fun and so talented.
Oh, well, yeah, this is the beginning of problems.
This is yes.
Right here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's all Marvin's fault.
So
Please address your complaints to Starshop,
yes,
Marvin.
yeah, we'll send you the email later.
Thanks.
So, and of course you know Marvin from
Yes.
QVC, I think,
Yep.
right? You go
Yep.
back. But let's go even further back.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because you grew up in Tennessee.
Yep.
And somebody asked you, what did you want to be when you grew up? And you did not really know.
And it's one of those things where I think a lot of kids, when you're 18 years old, you're
Yeah.
going into college, and you're supposed to make this decision of what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And I'm sitting there going, I live in a town of 4,000 people in Tennessee.
My parents are there right now.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful,
Yeah,
by the way.
they're sending me, I'm very jealous.
Yeah, I love it. But if you haven't been exposed to everything, you don't know what the options are. You have no idea what you would really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And so when I started my college degree, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I went to business because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and then I changed to long-term healthcare to avoid a class I hated.
There you go.
I don't know.
That sounds perfect. But so are you going to go into the medical field?
Everyone else in my family is in the medical field.
Okay.
I am not so good with sick people. So I thought that would not be my thing.
Yeah.
So I went into long-term healthcare administration because it was a growing industry even
Yeah,
then.
and
And
it
of course
still
it
is,
still is.
yeah.
And it took the business management degree that I was getting, and with an extra semester of courses, just changed it. And to me, it made sense because everyone in my family was in some kind of medicine or something like it. And I lived in a town that was very much, I know it sounds weird, medically oriented. I grew
sound
up.
weird.
I grew up as a Seventh Day Adventist, and my entire town was Seventh Day Adventist. And the Adventist denomination is very big in healthcare. So
Why do
there's
you
a
think
lot
that
of
is?
people. The beginnings of the Adventist Church, actually, I am not still an Adventist. Do not judge them by me. P.S. And by the way, they're lovely people. Don't judge them by me. But the beginning of the Adventist Church was very much tied up in lifestyle. So
Oh,
the
okay.
first, back in the mid 1800s, hospitals were a place that you went basically to die. And it was the Adventist Church and the early people who made up the Adventist Church that actually changed hospitals into what they are today and started a movement of healthy lifestyles,
wow.
sanitariums, eating healthy, exercising, all these kinds of things. So a lot of the food of today, Kraft and Post, a lot of those food companies had their roots in that movement from those people back in the mid 1800s.
interesting. And you were telling me your sister's a nurse.
Yeah,
so
I mean, everyone else in my family is in that direction. I just knew that that wasn't for me, but business seemed safe, and there you go. So
But you were Miss Tennessee.
I was.
You also played the violin.
When dinosaurs roamed the earth,
No, we
I
have
was
a picture.
Miss Tennessee. Look at
I
that.
would show you my picture, but I don't have one. But everybody that comes on, Gretchen Carlson, she
Yes.
was also
Yeah,
Miss
she was.
America.
She was Miss America. She
Miss
gave
New
up
Jersey?
her crown.
No.
No, she was Miss Minnesota.
Miss Minnesota.
She gave up her crown the year that I was in Miss America.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
She's lovely too.
She
Have
is,
you met
yeah.
her?
Just briefly, not really.
She's now working in the business to
Yeah.
try to help, I guess, against the Me Too movement and help
Yeah.
women stand up for themselves. So she's now working with Miss America, I guess, to help them.
Yeah. I have to
Organize or
say,
help women
I
advocate.
would love to take that pageant over.
Hmm.
I don't think they'd like it if I did.
What would you do?
I think that through a lot of good intentions
Yeah.
and some misdirection, that pageant has become well-intended, but, and I say this in love and gentleness,
Yeah.
irrelevant.
Oh.
And I think that I grew up wanting to be Miss America. I grew up watching that on TV every year, and it was something that I was willing to train for and sacrifice for and do things that scared me for. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. I learned how to do public speaking when I was Miss Tennessee. I learned how to meet people. I learned how to be in front of people. I learned how to communicate with people. And that's something that most people never get a chance to do.
Yeah.
And I think in this day and age where everyone just wants to take selfies and be famous,
Right.
that a program that teaches discipline and excellence and challenges you to do things that scare the living daylights out of you and really makes you want to excel and be better is needed. It's really
Where
needed.
do you think the program got lost along the way?
I think in actuality it really went off the rails in the late 80s, which is when I started, when I was in it, when they started with platforms. Now, platforms, because it seemed, oh, everyone's going to have this cause. I understand that it was well meant. I think that in reality, what it did was it crippled the pageant and made everyone's boundaries very small. So now, if I'm a girl going in to an interview, before, when I was in the interview system, when I was in the Miss America system, they could ask you anything. They could ask you quantum physics. They could ask you anything. There were no holes barred. There was nothing off limits. So, for example, the first question in the interview when I went in for the Miss Tennessee pageant was from the director of the Miss Texas pageant, B. Don Magnus. And he said, Miss Tennessee, or Miss Cleveland, that was my preliminary, Miss Cleveland. Miss Cleveland, I see here that you're going to play you play the violin. I said, yes, sir, I do. And he said, I see here you can play the fiddle as your talent. Does the fiddle have a G string? Now, he's just deliberately trying to throw me.
Yeah.
And I said, well, yes, it does, but we don't usually discuss that because people don't understand the context in which we're speaking.
And so you knew the answer.
Well, I mean, he threw it at me. That wasn't a hard one. But
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. But that was the way that he was able to test how I would react to an unexpected something that could be
Right.
provocative or it could be embarrassing. He could ask me any question he wanted to gauge my response. they could intentionally ask me things they knew I didn't know the answer to gauge my response. And once it became about the platform, every girl answered questions only on her platform. And they learned how to
So
dodge
it's like a
any
cheat
other
sheet.
question.
It's like a cheat sheet.
Yeah, so then it takes out the need to be really broad-based in your knowledge and to think things out for yourself and be able to really take any question.
To
And I
almost
think,
deal with life.
but that's
Which
what
is
life
right,
is.
because in life, anything can be thrown at
Anything,
you.
anything
And
can.
as you were talking, you know, I know many people ask you, why would you leave QVC? Why would you
Yeah.
leave QVC? And you talk about, and really you reinvented yourself so successfully, but you ventured into scary territory.
Yeah. Well, you know, I loved my time at QVC. I felt like I got to learn a lot. I got to do things that really no other host has ever been allowed
You had two
to
shows.
do. I had, but you know, and designing product,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of things that I really had the opportunity to do. You know, I got to go to Italy every year for 18 years. I got to build the Italian jewelry business. I got to work with the Italian factories. I got to go to Vicenza every year and work with David Markstein, who was our lead jewelry buyer. I got to do a lot of the big shows. I got to design all that product. I mean, that was a lot of things that I loved doing. I think that I was there for the best part. I think I learned a lot from it. And, you know, there comes a point where it's almost like a long marriage where you look at it and go, you know what? I think we've grown in different directions.
Yeah.
And I think we're no longer the couple that we were when we got married.
Right.
And, you know, it would be, you know, it's just time to go. That's what it is. Like, we had the good part, time to
I
go.
just want to say, this speaks, I think, to your talent, but we have a picture of you and Melania Trump.
Oh, yeah. I worked with her a number of times.
And I remember watching that show. And I remember, first of all, I bought several things from that show. And,
Yeah.
and it was like watching two beauties just in action. And you kept asking her what inspired her, and she kept saying Paris. Do you
Yeah.
remember that?
Well, you know,
I
here's-
remember it in my brain. It's like
No,
it
but
stands out.
here's one of the things that I felt. Here's one. It's interesting because I worked with Melania
Uh-huh.
on a lot of different occasions, doing
Yeah.
a lot of different shows, and I have to say that when I worked with her, when we were in the green room and we were just talking, when she was off camera, she was absolutely lovely.
Everybody says that about her.
She was
Everyone.
gracious. She was very easy to be around. She was kind. She was a lovely woman, and she got in front of the camera and it just scared her. It just freaked her out, and she became much more stiff and reserved and afraid of saying the wrong thing, and I felt badly for her because I felt like, if you could just be the person that you were in the green
But don't you
room,
think
you're
that
very
takes
endearing.
time? You know,
I
I
think,
remember
yeah.
when I first got into TV, my TV coach said the more that you can be yourself in front of the camera, the more natural you are. But that really takes time.
It does.
And I
Yeah.
think in some ways it's so endearing when somebody feels a little uncomfortable or doesn't want to live their life in front of the camera. Maybe it's because, you know, when you're a camera person.
The natural human reaction can be extremely endearing.
Yeah.
And it's something that, depending on how it manifests,
Right.
can be endearing for a long period of time or a short period of time.
Yeah.
But absolutely, it's one of the things that I loved when, in the earlier years, when I was at QVC, and we would have these small companies on, and these people would come on, and they had had no preparation, and they were mine. That was awesome, because they were mine to sculpt, and they were mine that I knew that if they were someone who was going to be automatically comfortable, or if they were someone who wasn't, and I could use that human reaction, that awe, that fear, that wonder, that jittery, and I could make the most of that, and I could help the people at home experience that with them. And there's nothing that makes you connect with someone more than that vulnerability that they would feel their first time on the air, with that look like, oh my gosh,
And it's
what am I going
almost
to
like
do?
being a therapist on the air, being a host.
I guess, maybe.
You know, because you're bringing out the most from that person, and you're trying to take care of them. You're the expert in that space. Did you have a favorite that you worked with, or several favorites?
Oh gosh, there were so many. I mean, some of my best friends to this day are friends that I made when I was there. And it is one of the things that I loved about being there, especially in the earlier years, was that you would go to work to be with your friends.
Yeah.
I mean, there was just nothing better.
Friend, I don't know if you know this, Kathy Levin.
Oh,
loves you.
I adore
I
her.
know, she's so great.
She's the best.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I sold something on QVC for 5 minutes.
I did not know that.
Unsuccessfully, because it was 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes. I thought I did a great job. No, it was hard.
It is hard.
It was hard.
So if you ever want to know if you'd be any good, here's what you do. Set the timer. I used to say egg timer. Now I say on your phone. So stand, looking at yourself. Actually, don't even look at yourself.
Yeah.
Just put the phone down here, set it for 2 minutes, take a number 2 pencil and talk. Don't repeat yourself. Use correct grammar. Make sure that you're
that's
put
another
2
thing.
minutes, only 2.
Yeah.
Because we had things that were an hour long. Just 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes
I
on a
could
number 2
talk for
pencil.
2 minutes.
No rehearsing.
But it was the selling. That was the other thing. Because I remember walking off and I was like, okay, that didn't get so bad. I'm like, that was kind of all right. And then afterwards, the guy who was the manufacturer, he's like, sorry, that wasn't good enough. Right after, because they look at the numbers.
Yeah.
It was okay. Listen,
It's instant feedback.
So listen, I've transferred from jewelry selling to jewelry buying.
That's
and
perfect.
I'm happy about it.
That's all
It's
good.
okay. But I remember, like, they look at the numbers.
They
and
do.
They can tell right away. So anyone who's there
Yeah.
successfully meets the numbers because that's what they look at.
Well,
And
it's
I thought
interesting.
300 pieces in 5 minutes, I was feeling pretty good about myself. And they're like, no, that's a big fail.
Well,
fail.
you know, it depends on the time of day. It depends
Yeah.
on what show it's in. It depends on the day of the week.
Whatever it was a fail.
You know, it depends on what's on before it or
Yeah.
after it. I mean, there's a million.
It's
yeah.
okay.
Kinds of equations.
Listen,
yeah.
I'll keep my day job.
It's all
But
good.
Anyway, you have now successfully transferred
Yeah.
or reinvented yourself, and you have what's called a vlogazine.
Yes.
And I was telling Lisa, so we have some pictures, and it's basically a lifestyle blog, video,
Yeah.
website, and you use Facebook
Mm-hmm.
to promote. And I was telling Lisa, there are online TV programs or they're on Facebook and they're like networks. They do not get the numbers you get.
Oh, wow.
And it's really quite amazing.
Well, when I left, we spent a good bit of time just really helping to create the community that we had before we ever started selling anything. Because to simply sell people things and have them be people I didn't know and have it be things I didn't care about was not something I wanted to do.
So what was
you
your
know?
first step?
Oh, so
What
here's
was
the
your
funny thing.
first idea, your first step?
So I wasn't sure what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I had created a company strictly to hire Katie because she said, I'm looking for another job. I'm not happy in my current job. I'm like, okay, so I'll just make a company. I'll hire you. So we did that.
See what we do for other
There
people?
you go.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine said, come to the Atlanta gift market with me in January. It's the biggest gift market in the country. And I said, no, I'm just not feeling like it right now. And she's like, come on. So I go, and I was as much fun as a root canal. I'm just trailing after her. And we walked in the showroom, and there was this Christmas tree, and it was the most beautiful Christmas tree I have ever seen. I mean, it was the 7.5 foot tree has over 9,000 lights.
Wow.
It was lit in a whole new way. It was from a company out of Europe that didn't do any business in the US much at that point. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. And I love Christmas. I love it. And I
What's
said,
there not to love?
oh my gosh, I have to have this tree. And they said, well, you'll have to buy a container, as in a huge container that gets put on a freighter
Oh, wow.
that comes into the country. I said, then I'm gonna get a container. I'm gonna start a company and I'm gonna buy a container and I'm gonna get that Christmas tree. And my friend was there because she said, if you like anything, you just put it. I'm like, pay for that. I'll pay you. I'm getting that. She was like, are
How
you
much
serious?
did
I'm
that
like,
cost?
Oh, like the price of a really nice high-end car for a container of like a nice high-end, really high-end car. I'm telling you, I was obsessed with this tree. We call it the Stars in the Sky tree. It was, and it's one of those things where I make emotional decisions. So I look at it, I fall in love with it, my eyes get big, my brain goes soft, and then I go, I have to have it. And then I buy a container. And then when the container was coming in, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? This is not an inexpensive tree. Of course it's not an inexpensive tree. It takes 2 different factories to make this tree. They've never done this kind of lighting on a tree. Nobody even has half the number of lights on the tree. It's really high-end LED lights on the tree. So we did the math, and if you ran it 8 hours a night, for 2 months a year, it would last over 100 years
Oh.
on the lights.
Okay.
So I leave mine on all year, so I figure I still got a few years in. And they flew.
That's what I did. I would do that.
Yeah, and
I think we have a picture. This isn't the one, but we do have a picture of your kind of lifestyle. Christmas.
So literally, the whole.
Right. So
right here.
Right there.
That's what started my idea of I have to start a company because I had to sell the original Stars in the Sky tree.
So that's
it's
where
still
the
up in my
idea
room.
Came from. So once you got that idea, it's like that aha moment.
Right.
To justify.
Well, then I thought,
tree.
well, now what am I going to do? I have to start a company. I have to sell this tree. What else am I going to do? And then I thought, well, what do I have? Well, you know, I have a lot of information on Italy. I've been to Italy every year for the last 18 years. I love Italy. I spent a lot of time in a relationship with someone who had studied in Italy, was a walking encyclopedia of Italian history, had given me my love of Italy, as well as spending time there working. And so I thought, well, I'll go to Italy and I'll create beautiful Italian jewelry. And I knew the factories, so I could go do that. So we started out selling Italian jewelry. And then we went into Christmas decor, and we do a lot of home now. We do some great bags. Oh, that bag.
Oh, well,
yeah. I know.
That
What's it doing over there? Sorry.
Right, it looks like
great bags,
an Erez bag.
Cashmere,
I just want
jewelry.
Say,
oh,
thank you, Marvin.
Thank
He's
you,
bringing
Marvin.
over the bag. Marvin,
so
we love
kind.
you. Yeah.
You are so kind.
So
Thank you.
Look how gorgeous that bag
Isn't that beautiful?
And also, everything Lisa wears, I want to buy. Like, I really want to buy it just off. Lisa gave me this beautiful piece of jewelry.
It's one of my favorites.
That is, oh my God.
I love it.
Sapphire, made in India. And this you're selling now.
Yeah, that's on our website right now.
LisaRobertson.com. And we're going to have a link so that you can see it. This is a true #true story. So I'm looking at, Lisa's jewelry that she's selling. I'm a jewelry person, so I'm always going to buy jewelry first.
Me too.
I mean, that's just always my go-to.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the cross that she's selling. It's this long cross, and then I came across the heart, the big heart.
Yeah.
And I came back, like, I swear to God, it was like an hour later, gone. So if you snooze, you lose.
Yeah.
With Lisa's site, I was like, wow, there's really no give. Like, just everything's sold out.
Well, what we try to do is, number one, you have to decide as a customer, how do you like to shop? And not all the time. There are certain things. I shop on Amazon for certain things all the time.
Shop.
I'm a Prime member. I love it. It's all good. But if I want something beautiful and different, I'm not going to go to Amazon for that.
Right.
So what I wanted to do was create something where I could bring beautiful, different things that could be. So what we're doing is always trying to do something different. So what we normally do is every day, Monday to Saturday through Saturday at noon, we put a new boutique up. And a boutique can be one item or a dozen items, just depends. And we have a certain number. So, when they're gone, they're gone. And that's when the boutique goes up. Sometimes they're gone in a few minutes. Sometimes they last days. You know how that goes. We also do advance orders. We do advance orders out of Italy because we know the factories that we can rely on. So we'll put something up and say, this is an advance order. You have 24 hours to order this or until we reach the maximum the factory said they could do. Yeah. And then they make it very quickly. They ship it to us and we let you, and when you order it, we let you know when it's going to ship, either 4 or 5 weeks. So it's very tight.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that we do. We also do a lot of great home product, which is amazing. We do couture. This is one of the couture pieces.
I mean, look at this necklace.
This is, this is from one of the most high-end jewelry companies in the world. They have offices in Jaipur, Hong Kong, New York, the list goes on. And they create one-of-a-kind pieces. They're all done by hand. They're all using only the highest quality, not only craftsmen and artisans, but diamonds, gems, gold, platinum, everything. This jewelry literally travels the world from international jewelry show to international jewelry show. And we figure out with the schedule of the jewelry traveling when it can stop in New York for a week.
Wow.
And I'll go in and choose pieces. They'll give it to us. We'll work it all up in one day. We'll do the chat that night and it's gone. It goes back to New York because I don't want to be responsible for it.
Yeah.
And then you have a week or two, depending on how long we can keep it up, to order it. And if you order it, it goes directly from New York to you. But here's the thing. Normally when this jewelry travels, it goes to a jewelry show in Dubai. In Dubai, it's sold to a wholesaler. That wholesaler sells it to a retailer who then sells it to a customer. This jewelry is in the most expensive high-end jewelry stores in the world. Now you're going directly from the people who make it to you. So even though it's all an investment, it's a huge savings.
So One of the things that really surprised me too is that you have things on your site that are like $35,000.
Yeah,
you
that's
have
the
a
couture.
real range, and then
Yeah.
show everyone
Oh.
the watch.
Oh, this watch
I
is
don't
coming
want
up
it to
tomorrow.
sell out before I get it. Seriously,
It's a pre-order, so we only have a certain number. So
Oh.
yeah.
I hope I
So
don't
be there
miss
at noon.
out.
Be there at noon.
Okay.
All good. Be there at noon.
Okay.
So so we have things that are, you know, the couture, which is going to go 45 grand. Oh, have you seen the cabana?
I did see the cabana, and we had the cabana.
Dying.
We did.
Oh,
so Lisa
the
had all
cabana?
these great pictures. I couldn't choose.
I know there were so many.
eliminate.
It was way
Wait,
too
wait,
many.
wait.
I'm sorry. Wait, the cabana.
We'll talk about the cruise in a
Wait,
few.
keep on
Wait,
going back. Keep on
keep
going back.
on.
Keep on go. Right there.
There we go.
There's the cabana.
And you are basically doing your show from the cabana, which
Yeah,
is gorgeous.
it's
How do
just
you ship
beautiful.
That out? Or it
Oh,
ships
in
out
pieces. In pieces.
Okay.
Let me explain. That cabana, another emotional decision, but I had to have it because it was so cool. Actually, oddly enough, it's very easy to put together.
Okay.
We rented a moving truck. I was driving a Penske 26-foot bed moving truck. We put the pieces in, which are 2 boxes and the 2 top pieces bound together, put them in the truck, drove them over to a friend's house, set it up. Katie, Carolyn, and I set that up ourselves the first time.
You did.
And Katie and Carolyn set up the one at my house. It's amazingly simple. And it's all-weather wicker. It's made to stay out.
Is that a nice like house gift for somebody you really like?
If you love them.
You love them.
Yeah. Yes. But
How much is something like that?
that one is $29.50 because
Okay.
that includes the shipping.
Okay.
And that has to be done. When you look at that, I've seen that exact cabana for $5,500. So I only wanted to offer it if I could offer it at a savings.
Yeah, and you do.
That had to be that we had to have a custom pallet made for it. It has to be wrapped, and we went through every single possible way to ship that to you to get that price down to $29.50.
Do you curate everything on
Yeah.
your Vlogazine?
Yeah. So some things I designed,
Yeah.
and some things I choose. Like this watch, I designed, and this is called the Palantino.
Did you design this?
I did not design that. That one I chose because it's beautiful.
I want to
And
try this
am
on because I might.
so
hopefully
so happy to just choose anything else beautiful that
And
someone does
mother
or
of
design.
pearl,
Yes.
I mean, listen, when I first saw you, my eyes went directly to the watch. Honest to God, it really did.
I love
I
that
didn't want
watch.
to be rude, but
Love it.
I mean, really,
Isn't that gorgeous?
it really is.
It's the perfect scale. And it is all about scale. You know, it's the perfect scale. It's important.
This is just for women or for men too?
It's for women, but it is a size that men wear,
Yeah.
and it's going to be in the all yellow or the white or the two-tone.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
that's a pre-order
So
tomorrow
tomorrow.
at noon. Yeah.
All right.
So
am
what
I
we do
doing?
is every day,
Make them available.
Monday to Saturday at noon, new things go up.
and we
the
find
night
it on
before-
your Facebook, or we have to go.
So you can look at lisarobertson.com. So here's what we did. So we
Okay.
started putting things up at noon, and people said, "Oh, but I want to know what's coming up because then things are gone so fast. I don't have a chance to make a decision." I get that, and you know what? I want you to feel good about what you order. I don't want you to feel pressured.
Yeah.
I want you to have time. So now, the night before, so tomorrow this watch is going up at noon. Tonight, this will go up on the top of the shopping page on lisarobertson.com.
Okay.
It'll say coming soon.
Uh-huh.
So you can look at all the information. You can scroll
Then
through
be
the
careful, 'cause
pictures.
Then I'll have a big old sold out sign.
And then at noon, so then at 9 a.m. Eastern time, an email goes out to everyone on the email list that says, "Hey, here's what's coming up at noon." And then at noon, it goes live. We post on Facebook and it goes live on the shopping page. You can go directly to the shopping page or go through the link on Facebook. So we give everyone time to look at everything beforehand so that you know at noon if it's what you really want or not.
One of the things that I love, and I would not know this unless we spoke before the show, is that you care about people fiscally.
I do.
You really do.
Yeah.
And you said to me, and this is not kind of the way typical business people think, right? Or
Right.
salespeople. It's more like, just buy it, buy it, buy it. And I buy easily anyway. But you really care. You want people to buy what they can afford.
Yes.
And
not what they can't.
And not what they can't.
Yeah, and it's one of the things, when we first started in business, having been, in television shopping, Easy Pay was something everybody asked for. Our system, we use an existing e-commerce platform that's used by over 400,000 e-commerce businesses in this country. And if you don't have $1 million for your own website, it's a great way to go. We don't have $1 million for our own website. We're a small business working out of my house. So we use an e-commerce platform that doesn't allow us to do Easy Pay. And I realized very quickly that, in all honesty, I was kind of happy about that because I want people to be part of our community, whether they shop or not. Shopping is not what makes you part of our community and part of our tribe. Shopping is fun and it's extra. And whether you're window shopping or actual shopping, that's fine. And when there's something that you love and it's in your budget, I'm thrilled. I want you to have it. I want it to make you happy. But if it's not something that's good for you financially, it's not going to end up making you happy. So I want people to get what is comfortable for them. And when we do this couture, it's one of the things I talk about. I'm saying, I'm not bringing you this
and
because
I think we have a photo
I
of
expect
some of the gorgeous jewelry.
So this is some of the
connections.
couture.
Look at that.
Yeah. And these are all real and they're amazing. But I'm not showing you these because I expect this to be in everyone's budget. I'm just saying these are works of art. These are done by some of the best artists and craftsmen in the world. These are one-of-a-kind masterpieces that a lot of us don't ever get a chance to see or be around or learn about or be exposed to. And how wonderful to be able to do that in the comfort of your own home and not have to be intimidated and not have to walk in a store where you feel like,
there are places where it's very intimidating to walk in.
Where
they look at you like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, and I feel like they always look at me like I don't belong there. I don't know. It makes me nervous.
I window gaze and they still look at like, get away from the window. We know you can't afford that.
So, sometimes, I think for women, here's the difference between a man and a woman when it comes to shopping. As a woman, I look at this watch. And in my mind, my fantasy life just goes. And I see myself walking to lunch with my friends and I'm wearing my new watch and they're going, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Where'd you get that? I'm going, well, I just got it. It's so cool because it really reminds me, and the list goes on. And then I'm at work and everybody goes, oh my gosh, is that a new watch? As a woman, I reap the rewards of shopping before I have ever shopped.
Yeah.
In my mind, I have lived out the next few months of me and the grandeur of that piece of jewelry. So if it's in your budget, feel free to live it out in reality. If it's not, then just wait, because my mission is to bring you something else that will make you happy tomorrow.
And what you were telling me earlier was that you want people to see beauty.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you don't want to spend $45,000 on
completely
a necklace,
okay.
which made me feel relieved.
Yeah. No, it's about, I don't think that we should close our minds.
Yeah.
To close your mind to only see things
like
that
art.
you understand and you're comfortable with and you can afford. That's a dreary utilitarian world.
Yeah.
I want to go to Rome and I want to go to the Borghese Galleria and I want to sit in front of Bernini's Apollo and Daphne and I want to look at the detail in the leaves and the twigs that her fingers are becoming and the look on her face as she looks back and the tears and the realization that she is never ever going to live as a person again, and Apollo reaching for her with this look on his face of what's happening and he doesn't understand. And that beauty is something I will never own. I don't have to own it. I just want to look at it. I want to experience it. And for me, that's what the jewelry can be. So I want everyone to be able to experience that. It doesn't have to end up on your dresser. It's completely fine.
And how many people who have a website say that? I mean, that's what makes you really special.
I want to create a community. And it's one of the things, we did a tea in Easton, Pennsylvania about a year and a half ago at the Easton State Theater. Shelley, who's become a friend through that, was just so wonderful in setting that up. And we had the best time and people came and it started at 2 and they were knocking on the door at noon and they let everybody in. And I was meeting everyone and saying hi until it was time to do the tea. And then afterwards and it started creating an even tighter community and women met each other and they saw each other's face and they went out and had dinner afterwards and they stayed in touch and they became good friends. And now they'll meet up in New York and they'll still have dinner.
So nice.
And it's one of the things.
It's about connecting.
Yeah. So we're going to have an evening coming up in Downingtown. And it's going to be a nice, small, intimate gathering because I want people to spend time together. We're going to have a cruise. I want them to create a community.
We have information about the cruise.
Yeah.
Because you're very active with your community.
You
write back to them. They write to you.
Oh,
they ask you questions. It's a real back and forth.
Yeah.
But okay, so tell
there's
me
the
more
cruise.
about this cruise. And this is your team.
This is my
your
team.
Beloved team.
Yes, my fearless team. So this is Katie, who started with me in the very beginning.
Oh, how great.
And she worked with me the last 6 months that I was at Q. Here's Nancy B. Nancy B.
I saw
Swisher.
her on your show.
She's a hoot.
Yes.
She was there for 23 years and worked with me before I left for a few years. And so she's with our team now. Here's David. He was the lead jewelry buyer at QVC for over 20 years, and he's with us now. Carolyn, who is an absolute living doll, and if I could clone her, I would. And then there's me. So that's our whole team.
What a great
Yeah.
team. What
So
a great team.
Nancy
Look at
loves
that.
cruises. I have never been on a cruise.
Oh, it's fun.
And I just was not sure a cruise was my thing, and Nancy loves them. And we had this wonderful gentleman named Rick who would talk to us about putting a cruise together. So next April, the end of April, beginning of May, we're gonna be on a cruise. It's Norwegian Cruise Line's cruise for 7 days.
Can anyone sign up?
Yeah. So
And-
right now,
Okay.
if you sign up through Rick and for our cruise, there's going to be something special for our group every day. For the large group, we're going to do some things with smaller groups, and you'll kind of automatically have a group of friends to travel with. So a lot of women are coming on their own, which I think is awesome. Some women are bringing their husbands, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep it relatively small because I want it to be something
And
where
it's
you
Mexico,
really,
right? You're going
yeah.
to
So it's
Mexico?
going to be leaving from Miami, going to the Western Caribbean, and there's amazing excursions, 4 different days of excursions. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
that's-
just started doing that, but it's almost full.
So this is new. So it's almost
Yeah,
sold out.
it's almost sold
If
out.
Lisa puts it on her site, it's like almost sold out.
It's crazy, but we started it now so that people could pay
Yeah.
through Thanksgiving. You wouldn't have to pay it all at once. You could put yourself on a payment plan. And Rick and his wife Allison are so lovely. I mean, when you meet him, I have yet to meet Allison in person. I've talked to her on the phone, but when you meet him, he is the perfect personality for this. He's so warm and so comfortable and so helpful and so genuine. And he and his wife are going to be on the cruise with us. It's going to be awesome.
It's a fantastic
Yeah.
idea. You were also talking about how it's important to you, and we talked about this kind of phrase of be good, do good.
Yeah.
And we certainly like to work with companies that have that philosophy. And
Yeah.
that's certainly your philosophy, giving back and some of the charities
Yeah.
that you work with.
Well, one of the things that I think is really a pleasure is being able to help people in a time of need, to feel like, I think it's human. Look, if you're a good person, and I know by and large most people are, I think most people are good people, and you see something happen and you just think, oh my gosh, I want to help.
Yeah.
What can I do to help?
Right.
And one of the great things about owning your own business is you can go, you know what, I'm going to help.
Yeah.
So there have been a few occasions. There was the earthquakes in Italy. There was the disaster in Texas with the hurricane, as well as Beautiful Self, which is an organization that I love. And they work, they do this amazing program with women who have breast cancer, ovarian cancer, or stage 4.
And you talk about your mom.
Yeah,
too.
who passed away from ovarian cancer. And I think what they do for women is amazing. And they really just do it out of the kindness of their hearts. They don't have any, continuing corporate support. And we've done a couple benefits for them. And I think what warms my heart is seeing how wonderful the response is from the women and the men in our tribe, in our community, that they want to help. And we've been able to raise about $100,000 now total,
lot of money.
for
Yeah.
a small company.
Yeah.
And that it just makes me so happy. I mean, how great is that you can raise money and help people, and everyone can do, their little thing, and they can be part of helping, I think.
And also to have that philosophy of just wanting to give back and make a difference and do something good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're multi-talented.
Well-
Do you want to sing on the show? Because we're in this,
I was
like, we're
thinking-
right near Broadway. So Lisa has the most amazing
No.
voice, which I did not know about, and I
just
don't
love to
sing
sing.
because I care about people. So yeah,
And you're welcome.
yes, you can thank me later, or I could sing, and then you can see me for treatment, for therapy if you're traumatized.
I know. I sing all the time. It was so funny because I was talking to Nancy from my car. Said, "Hey, Nancy, take a look at this," and she said, "All right, now I want you to turn off your phone and listen to something you can sing along to," because she knows how much I love to sing. So
No, you're very good, and if I'm correct, you also have done some acting in your past.
Oh, I did one movie that was so bad. The only good part about it is that the movie was worse than I was.
Did you want to be an actress?
Well, I grew up in a town that made Footloose look liberal.
Uh-huh.
The concept of acting was not
It was
ever
not.
in my reality.
Yeah.
I think, and I feel very lucky, by the way, to have grown up that way. It was like a throwback to the 50s. Everyone knew everyone. everyone in my
Do you
town
think that's
had a
like our
college
town?
degree.
Like I grew up in a small town too,
Yeah,
and everybody
I mean,
knew everybody.
there was no crime.
And they kind of still pull for each other.
Yeah.
Like even after the fact, they'll be like, "Oh my God, it's so nice to see your son is at school."
Yeah,
or,
no.
It's
Let me tell you,
lovely.
when my mother became ill, I was so grateful that she was in that town and that there were people there that they had known for 30, 40 years who are like family. I mean, their family is more like 1,000 people. And there were so many people there to support them and care about them and call on my mother and what can I do to help. That's a wonderful support network that I think a lot of people don't have.
Actually,
anymore.
they've done studies to
Yeah.
show the importance of belonging. So while we talk about how smoking's bad for you or how being overweight is bad for you,
Right, feeling isolated,
not belonging to a group,
and that's one of the things that's
has
so
devastating
interesting
impact.
because there are different points. Whenever I try to not ban anyone from my Facebook page unless I feel that they're being deliberately mean.
Okay. Do you get
And-
a lot of that?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
And if you're being deliberately mean, in some cases I'll just hide your comment and make a note of it to see
Right.
if it's a recurring
And
behavior.
also Facebook
But-
will eliminate certain comments. If they're
I have
inappropriate.
not found Facebook to have anything to do with our
Okay.
site. I mean, it's been up to us.
Uh,
But there are times where where you give someone the benefit of the doubt repeatedly. Because what I always say is, and sometimes people will come in, you're going, I don't understand why they're here. They don't have, but it's because everyone just needs a place to belong.
Yeah.
That's all. Everyone just wants to feel like they belong somewhere.
I think it's harder and harder to feel
I
connected.
do too. And I just feel like if that's the simplest thing we can do is give everyone a safe place that they can belong, where they know that people are going to be kind to each other, then that makes me very happy.
Yeah.
That's completely different than the shopping.
It's almost like bringing the small town to your site.
It is. I never
You know
thought
what
of
I
that,
mean?
but yeah,
it really is
yeah.
like that. And
Yeah.
that's such a quaint and charming feeling. And also you provide information like how to make a beautiful
Right.
pillow
We do
and just
information
all those
and a
kind
lot of
small
traveling.
town things.
I
And
have to say,
traveling.
I love to share my travels when I'm traveling. And I love the response of people who have said, oh my gosh, thanks to you, I've gotten to go to Italy and I've gotten to go to, because just in the first 3 months of this year, I was in Atlanta, and then I was in Chattanooga, and then I was in Vicenza, and then I was in Venice, and then I went through London and Chicago to Nashville, and then I was in Phoenix, and then I was in Sedona, and then I was back in Atlanta, and then Chattanooga,
you're busy.
and then Atlanta, and then Las Vegas, and then I was in the Netherlands. I was in Amsterdam, and then I went about 2 hours out, and then it took 24 hours to get home, and then I was in Mexico, and then that's the first 3 months of the year. And whenever we go, typically we try to share that. So, if I'm walking down the street in New York, I'm going to share a little bit of walking down the street in New York. And if I'm window shopping in Venice, I'm going to share a little bit of window shopping in Venice.
Many people just
And it's so much
watch
fun to
you,
just live
so many
vicariously.
people. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. I remember when I was little, one of my favorite things to do with my sisters was to peek in at our neighbor's house. They were never doing anything.
That's so
They were like making coffee, but we just thought it was so cool.
I love
And
that.
that's
That's
what
so
we're
cute.
kind of all
Yeah.
voyeurs, right?
Well, and I think that, I don't think people feel as safe traveling as they
Yeah.
used to. I think it's a different world.
good
I
reason.
personally don't feel as safe traveling, and I'm very grateful that I've been able to travel where I've been able to travel. So that's somebody said the other day, I don't really feel that safe about it. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to travel through you.
Oh, how
Like,
nice.
okay, that's cool.
Well, you'll continue to travel for all of those people.
I am here to help. I'm
Yes.
a giver. I'm going to take one for the team. So if there's somewhere you'd like us to go.
Yeah. And so can people weigh in and say, hey, Lisa, we really want you to go to this country for us?
Well, you know what? So far, literally all of our travel has been business. So
Oh.
all that travel I just told you, that was all business.
See, you have my
But-
dream job.
I do
You
love to
kinda
travel.
do.
I do. Yeah. Except when I'm really, really sleep deprived. But I think that hopefully one of the things that I hope we can do in time is to travel just for pleasure, where we can really spend more time sharing it with everyone at home, because we're not having to juggle trying to work during the day and trying to,
And make it kind of like educational.
yeah.
Like a documentary.
You know what? I think that someone should fund a documentary
Yeah.
of
So
me
if you're
traveling.
out there and you're a sponsor, I actually know a couple of people.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I can be
I'm here
very
to help you.
documentarian. Have you- I'll put on my most official documentary voice.
That's right.
That's
I
right.
think that would be great.
We have
that
so
would
much
be-
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be fascinating.
Yeah.
We do something called the Quick Five.
Uh-oh.
Are we too early for it? The Quick Five? Or
Nope.
not too early?
Are we
Okay.
way over time? Have we talked
we-
too much?
Oh no!
Marvin's over there
Oh
going.
no! All right, wait.
He said
Hold on.
he turned the microphones down for us because
Oh.
he was implying that we were loud. I'm not really sure what he's talking about. Are you?
I honestly don't know
We
where my Quick
are
Five.
As
I
quiet
don't
as
know what
church
happened to
mice.
my Quick Five.
I don't have it.
But
'cause
here we go.
I don't know. Okay.
I kind of remember them in my head.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do a couple of them.
Okay.
What is something you've always wanted to do and haven't had time to pursue yet?
Oh gosh. Painting
Painting.
and learning to play the piano. Have to cut those nails.
Yeah. What is something that sounds like a compliment but may not be?
You look so different in person.
Oh yes, we were talking about that.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Right, that's not exactly.
No, really, don't help me anymore.
Yes.
Whatever you do, don't help.
Thank you. Where's like a bridge I can jump off of?
Exactly. Is there a tall building around here? Because I am
Thank-
thoroughly depressed.
Favorite childhood memory?
Oh gosh, I have so many, but I have to say the pets
Uh-huh.
and my family, because we had all kinds of bizarre pets. My dad was the biology teacher. Every wounded animal came to our house.
Oh.
We raised little wild bunnies. We had a pet raccoon. We had owls. We had brown thrashers. We had turtles. We had snakes. We had and then we had a dog who had puppies every summer, and we found homes for all the puppies, and we got to raise all the
You were
puppies,
like
and
a
we had
rescue place,
horses, and we were kind of our own
Yeah.
little rescue.
I like that.
We were,
Oh,
yeah.
that's so nice.
It was great.
I have dog cravings. Do you have a dog?
Yeah, no, and I want one.
I have dog cravings.
I do.
I never had baby cravings.
No, I got to tell you, I was way too old to procreate by the time that my maternal instinct kicked in. But now I would love, is there a place where I can go just hold puppies?
I think so.
I would pay for that.
We can make that
I
happen.
would pay to go hold puppies. Wouldn't you pay?
I would.
Little puppy breath and little puppy bellies.
I would. I love dogs so much.
Oh.
What's next for you?
Oh gosh, I ask myself that every day.
Yeah.
That wakes me up at 2 a.m. Honestly, I have no idea. And here's the problem. If you're looking for someone with a plan, don't look at me.
Mhm.
I have never had a plan. Do you understand? Never had a
Yes.
plan.
Oh,
When someone
yeah.
goes, what do you want to study in college? I don't know. Well, now you're out of college. What do you want to do? I don't know. Well, where are you going to work? I don't know.
But you
I mean,
live spontaneously.
I do, and I
And that
feel
comes
like
from an honest place.
sometimes life just makes you do something.
Oh, absolutely.
And you got to make the best of it, and you do it in a way that feels the best to you. So, with this company, I think I make a lot of mistakes with this company. If you look at my company on paper and you're just looking at dollars and cents, you're going to tell me that I am making a lot of mistakes. Really, you're only going to hire people that you really care for. But are those the best people in their field? Well, in my opinion, they are. But in reality, I hired them because I care for them, I respect them, and I have history with them, and I trust them. I want you to buy things when it's good for you. That's probably not a good company decision. This is a horrible thing to admit. I don't sit down and have a business plan. I want to do something that I feel good about. I want to create a work environment that is positive for people. I want them to get as much out of it as I get out of it. I want to give them what's important to them. I want to give you what's important to you. I don't want to do things anymore that I don't feel good about.
And
I
that's
just
part of
don't
being
want to.
When you're at a stage of life, when
Yeah,
you live
you're just
life
going,
on purpose.
Yeah, I'm just
and
done
that's
with
where
that.
we're at. And I was telling you earlier, I have people on the show that are talented and gifted and who I like. Because that's what I want.
Yeah,
I don't
and I
want
said
someone
that sounds like a great gig.
That's my business plan. So there you go.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I do
So
think
I won't be
it's
buying
good.
that $35,000
And that's all good. All good. Not a
But
problem.
You are just gifted in every single way, and I
Thanks.
think everybody should be a part of your community just to check it out.
I got to tell you, there are days when you just need to laugh.
Yeah.
Go to my page. We
great.
have some of the funniest people. We have some great men on there. I don't want you to think it's only women. Yes, there's mostly men, but we have some great guys on there.
Yeah.
We have funny people. We have smart people. We have supportive people. And I think in today's world where it's just constantly like handling broken glass to interact with society in general, general. You're constantly on guard. Your stomach is in knots. I just want this to be the one place where you can go and relax and not worry. And I do feel that that's what it is.
It really is. It
Yeah.
does have that small town charm that
does.
you really have captured. So everybody should really check out lisarobertson.com. We'll have a link for you so you can just check it out yourself. We'll also have a link to Tall Order, which
Yes,
now
they're
people
awesome.
can get at Macy's, and also tallorder.com. Check out their story, their backstory, and all the cute, famous basketball players that wear them, and women wear them too. My daughter's wearing them. So thank you for joining us on Talking Live, and we will see you next week on Monday, Memorial Day. We have a very special tape show.
Oh, very
about
good.
replacement children with Patty Hahn.
Oh,
who
good.
is Goldie Hawn's older sister, who's super cool.
Oh
my God.
I
She's
love
fabulous.
Goldie Hawn.
Yeah.
So
And
therefore, I
this
would
is
love Patty.
Yeah, Patty is super cool, and the author of, it's called Replacement Children, The Unconscious Script, and it's fabulous. So we'll have information about that. See you then, and have a great one.
Thank you.